benefits for intervening with your hearing sooner rather than later. I have this discussion with people quite a lot because it isn't something that you necessarily notice straight away, and it is something that we're trying to get people to have a regular check. But if you do discover that you have hearing loss, then really for ease on yourself, it tends to be something that most people end up with. You're looking at over 70% of over 70s having hearing loss. So most people will do well if they don't end up with some degree of hearing loss. And the sooner you intervene, then the smaller the jump is for you to go from where your hearing is to where you need to be. And it means that when you actually get the hearing aids, you're more likely to find it easier to acclimatise to them, which is one of the big reasons why people reject hearing aids, because once they get them and they get used to putting them in and everything like that, and realise that they're not anywhere near as big as they used to be or as clumpy, and they're quite discreet and cosmetically pleasing, they actually then struggle to get used to the sound of them sometimes, because if you've left it for 10, 15 years after your hearing first started to deteriorate, you're going to make a big jump then. So I think that's the main one when it comes to early intervention. But then another big part is the fact that it's really good for your health. So again, a lot of people don't know that there's links between increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's with untreated hearing loss. So from a health perspective, you want to be doing something sooner rather than later. Even a mild loss can double your risk of developing something like that. And that's why you should incorporate it into your test battery. And then in terms of like the long-term effects on your general health, things like poor dexterity and memory loss affect your ability to learn to and use a hearing aid. So it may be that now you're absolutely fine and you think, oh, I'll put it off for a few years, but then you don't know how your hands will be, or you don't know how your ability to learn how to use it will be in that time. And I find that if I show somebody how to use it now, sooner, they'll get into the habit of doing it, so that when things deteriorate in future, they know what they're doing. Whereas if you then try and train somebody to use a hearing aid later on, that's when it becomes more of a struggle. So having it as part of your daily routine sooner rather than later is definitely going to be of benefit. And I see so many people that say, gosh, I should have done this years ago. I've had this for 5 years, I've had this for 2 years, whatever it may be, and all that time they've not been hearing very well, and then in the end they've got hearing aids anyway. So you could have just been hearing really well throughout that whole time, and you just think all those conversations that you missed out on, all those experiences that you weren't contributing to as much because your hearing was down, if you could go back again, you would do it straight away.